When the whole world was dragged into World War III, brave men like my father fought on the front lines. And they weren't alone. That was 20 years ago. Now it's up to us to carry on their legacy. And every so often, the earth from which we come gives way for something new, something greater to be born. And with them, even greater threats to face. Phenomenova. For you, Dad. For you.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Someone says, what's the future? Vaughn Coleman.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, your boy Vaughn Coleman. And the last one I did of New Comic Shop was such a hit. I was like, yeah, why not? Let's do it again. So we're doing it again. And then one of my guests who I'm going to introduce actually was like, why don't we have a topic? And I'm like, it's probably a good idea. It's probably that might actually help things. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it, baby. So we're going to do it. I'm going to play just one intro to introduce all of the guests. We got four guests again, and yeah, here we go.
Music make you lose control. Music make you lose control.
What's going on, guys?
Where's that triangle from, man?
I don't know. But I saw
cheese.
It. Is it?
Oh, is it?
Is there Illuminati with triangle?
No, I saw that and I thought because it was like a shit post and I thought it was so funny, and there's nothing like objectively really funny about it. Like there's no thought, there's no deep meaning. It
is kind of funny when you don't know what it's from.
I don't.
Yeah,
I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. I like sometimes I take out of context stuff and but the thing is I need to get new memes. I haven't been downloading new ones. I'll have to get some new material. What's up, Doug 209? So we are going to be talking about being a storyteller in the social media era, because I actually think that's a great topic, and we'll also be promoting 4 books. Well, I guess you guys could promote other books you have too. 5 also. Let me, of course, the most important book of all, Phenomenova, my book. We'll get that out of the way, so you could join my it's of course pinned in the chat right now, and then we'll pin other ones as we get to them. But one of the things that is interesting about this is, so first of all, you can just join the mailing list right now. We got issue 2 is coming soon. We also do have, for writers and artists, you could submit for a horror anthology book. We might actually push back the deadline, but for now it is a Valentine's Day deadline. So if you have any short written stories, like a short story, not comic books, go here, submit. You could look at the form. It'll give you all the details. It's basically the theme is like Reapers in Pursuit. What does that mean? Well, you could read all about it and kind of come to your own interpretations. And you can also get my comic Phenomenova issue 1 on my store right now, and they'll be shipping out. So if you want to give yourself that book, give yourself that gift. It's Christmas season.
Hey, Vaughn, I saw you posted art of a new character in issue 2. It's like a hot girl who talks.
Yeah.
It's like the RE4 girl who talks on the radio or whatever.
Yeah.
What you should do is kill off Miles and make her the main character.
That was one of the things. I actually had a hot chick book that I was doing, my first published work. And Bobby, my friend Bobby, was like, dude, why are you making the book about the child before the hot chick book? The hot chick book's going to sell better. And I'm like, you're right, but this is just where my heart is right now. I was like, all right. But I do want to make that other one. But no, I mean, I'm not disagreeing. Like, it's a good, she's a side character too, but I feel like fans are going to keep asking for more of her, which is fine.
Yeah, that's what you want, like you can what is it, have your cake and eat it too, kind of, so
Yeah.
That's why
but I mean, as long as she's in the book, you
Yeah.
can just be like, hey, like get issue 2 or issue 3, so
yeah,
That was
exactly.
like with the show Justified, it was like Walton Goggins' character was a bad guy who was meant to be a bad guy for one episode, but everyone loved him so much that they brought him back and he became the big bad for like 2 seasons or something.
yeah,
They
yeah, you
can't
never
do it,
know
like, in real time.
sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah.
with like characters, it's like sometimes they resonate with people, and we've seen that throughout comics history where might just be a throwaway character that someone had to create on a harsh deadline, and then that character becomes really popular.
Oh yeah. You see
I
that
feel
all
like
the
you
why we
time.
should all
there's something
make
in mind,
sure-
Mandor.
Yeah.
No. I mean, if you think about every Marvel and DC hero, I mean, maybe not all of them, but a lot of the popular ones, I'm sure, because Stan Lee and all of those guys, they didn't know how big these characters would be, right?
Oh, no.
And so you kind of just have to see what sticks and keep bringing them back and see what the fans want. And that was so cool about the letters pages, when you would read those and you'd read the way fans and customers were interacting with the stories and what they wanted and which characters they wanted to see again. So all of that is so, I think, vital to listening to your audience, which is really important.
That applies to Vaughn's topic for the day too.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. We'll get into it. So how do I structure this show? Well, also, I wrote the first 8 issues. Is this the Cool Do stream with real writers? How nice. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all real. I'm real, I think.
I mean,
I think so.
you said it, not me.
Yeah. This is the Cool
take
Guy
it.
stream. We'll take
We should redub it, the comic cool guy shop stream.
Yeah. The cool look, yeah, cool. We'll think of something. Cool comics writers.
the CCSS, cool comic shop stream. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh. Ooh. See, I did the PPE because I was like, that's kind of quaint. I don't know. But yeah, so I wanted to talk about more actually. All right, I'm not going to take credit for Tony's idea. Tony wanted to talk about being a storyteller in social media era, and I was like, that's actually a good discussion. And one of the things that I want to talk about. Okay, people like shop. Cool. Yeah, maybe I'll make this a regular thing then. So far we're batting 1 point in 8 minutes. One successful episode and 8 minutes into the next. So could go wrong, but we're gonna treat it like it's going right. And it's interesting. I mean, right now we're all writers, right? Or creators. I know you also do artwork, but one of the things that's kind of tough is being a creator and also having to like maintain a social media presence and market it all. Because it's not like, I mean, obviously people who can work, you realize writing is often a full-time job. Like, I thought there's one script, issue 3, I'm rewriting again. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the final draft. No, actually, because I decided to introduce a ton of characters in that. And jump back and forth in time. So that means that I need to rewrite it a lot. And so, you realize that takes a lot of time. You know what else is a full-time job? Marketing.
Yeah.
And you have to essentially do 2 full-time jobs and you think you're going to get paid? No. So this is where it becomes tough. And it's also a lot of writers are introverts. I mean, I have introvert traits, but then I also have extrovert traits. So I do like streaming, but I think another problem it comes with is the instant gratification. This is what I'd have is one of the tough parts is how much money I would make on my campaigns. I noticed when I was running my first one live, like the period of days I made the least were the days I promoted the least, kind of. I mean, not always,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it was often. You know, it was like it was generally, you know, you have to be on social media a lot. And that's the thing. You have to always be in
Do you
people's ears. I know
remember
that.
when you were posting or when you're on social media, like how many hours do you think you were on social media promoting?
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
But too many, but also apparently the right amount. Although
Yeah.
there are times
versus
where
two-
I'll make my posts and I'll be scrolling. I'm like, all right, what the hell am I doing? I already did my job, and I'm refreshing, waiting for notifications.
Right.
Stop!
There's
Stop!
like marketing, and then there's doom scrolling 'cause you're addicted to social media, and I don't like that. I'm bummed about that. Like I've thought
Yeah.
about quitting Twitter. I'm like,
Oh,
I
I
don't care
have.
if I make less money. I would enjoy.
And you need
the-
it.
fixing
Yeah,
my
I
brain, you know?
totally I have a confession to make. You know, when I started making comics and started promoting a lot more and trying to get into the headspace of marketing and being more business oriented with my stuff and being on social media more, I realized that after a campaign was over and I was done promoting, I would I would go on social media and I wouldn't even realize why. Like I'm opening my phone, I'm opening Twitter, you know, more and more each day after the campaign has ended because I've trained myself by muscle memory to go on my phone, you know, to go online. And I'm like, wait a second, like I don't have to do this anymore. Like I don't and but you know, it's still that also could hurt you though too if you're like, oh, I need to disappear, right? Like I think it's important to keep a consistent online presence even
Mhm.
if you're not promoting your book or a campaign is not running, because then, you know, you have the tendency to become not necessarily irrelevant, but it's good to let people know that you're still working on your book,
Mhm.
that you still exist, that, you know, you're doing this and, you know, showing progress updates and things like that. But it can affect your day to day and your, you know, your mental health and all those types of things because you're
Oh,
so
yeah.
used to being online and talking with
You
people and
can't pry
promoting, and then
away.
you're like, crap, you know, like I'm doing this 24/7 all the time, and it's okay to do other things. So you kind of have to balance that.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
takes up your whole life too.
Yeah, it's that's why I kind of spend as little time on social media as possible. Like just a month, just
Yeah.
from like a mental health point standpoint. Like I just feel way better. Like the least amount of time I spend, even on something like Instagram or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just because you know you play the the FOMO popularity game. You know, you just start kind of, it's almost like you can't help but kind of compare yourself to like
Mhm.
the highlight reel that other people keep posting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's not easy. It's also just addicting. Like there'll be
Yeah.
times I'm scrolling through. I'm like, I have a million comics to read. Why am I looking at this? Like, what is, you know?
Yeah, or you're halfway through the comic and then you pick up your phone and you're like, wait, I'm in
Yeah.
the middle of this. Like I'm in the middle of reading this. It's
Yeah.
not necessary, and I wouldn't say, you know, that's the fault of the comic necessarily. It's
No,
I
it's
think
not.
it's the fault of just the way we're wired now, and picking up our phones and wanting to see what's happening, and oh, I haven't, you know, like it shouldn't feel like you're missing out if you haven't been on your phone for an hour or two, but you do, you know, because you're on it all the time. And I mean, even, you know, even at your day job sometimes, you know, like you may need to use your phone, or, you know, it feels like we always have to perpetually be online. And you have to be able to tell yourself, like, and discipline yourself. It's another discipline you have to master. um, and, you know, for me personally, as a writer, having to have that discipline and sit down and not have any distractions, it, you know, it becomes a point where you have to really kind of scold yourself or tell yourself, hey, like, put
Yeah.
that away. I always have to like physically get things out of the way. So like put the phone in a different room, close my door, you know, it's like you have to find the things that work for you and that can help you not, you know, fall into those bad habits.
You know, I even just to show how bad it is. I have a confession to make. You know what? I'm closing it right now. I have a confession to make just to show how bad it is.
Oh wait,
Why are you
were you
talking?
scrolling?
I'm
Were you
listening.
scrolling
No,
while I was talking?
I wasn't that bad. But I did check my website analytics. Oh, am I getting promotion? Well, and I'm like, stop. Like, because you're talking about how it's a problem, and I'm like,
You're like,
Yeah.
Julius, what about you with social media?
Yeah, like you guys, it's I've come to realize that it is very addictive, highly addictive, because who doesn't love drama? A lot of the time.
Yeah.
And
We love to watch the car
been,
crash, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I've been training myself little by little to to remind myself and tell myself every day, okay, this is a tool.
yeah.
I want to use it just to observe the landscape so I can see what's going on, what's trending, what's working for people, what's not working for people, and kind of filter out, some of the little dramatics that the little fires, I call them dramatic fires that pop up, and I kind of just observe those just to kind of see, okay, how people react to that, how they interact with that. And the one thing that I discovered that I didn't know was a thing was you could time your tweets. So every weekend I try to spend an hour to just, okay, this tweet, I'm going to write this one, I'm going to save it in draft, and then I'm going to schedule this to come out on Wednesday. Then I'm going to schedule this one to come out on Thursday. So that way I won't have to look at my phone as often.
Oh, that's cool.
They're coming out automatically, and I have to worry about, the only time I do that is when I have a thought that I want to share right then and there. Then I'll, put a thought, boom, out there, and I go back to work. I like to always challenge myself when I write, so I don't like you, Nander. I need I don't like to put away my phone too far away from me because I have family and they might need me or whatever. So I always just put the phone down, put it on complete silence, and I just work, and I just put it up, face it down, and I just focus on just working. Yeah. And it tends to help, especially when you're in a situation like right now I'm in my room, it's quiet, the door's closed, my wife knows, okay, when the door's closed, daddy's working, don't go up there, don't bother him, because I get in the zone. But I think at this point, a lot of us who are creative, we need to start looking at social media as a tool to not only promote our stories and books, but also ourselves. And that involves telling a story about who we are as individuals. And some are more charismatic than others. It's just a matter of what's more comfortable for you to present yourself to potential readers and backers of your campaigns. Or for your instance, Vaughn, you have a website, so people can go to your website and buy your book there. And it's just a matter of putting yourself out there and finding the right tribe, as I like to call it, who will know, okay, yeah, I see this little group over here that like the kind of same stuff I do. So I'm going to go over there and sell my book over there and see if I could get some people, and then so on and so forth. That's what social media has kind of become. They become little tribes.
Yeah. And I will say,
it's just a matter of knocking on the door going, hey, I like Star Wars too. I got this thing here. You mind if I check, talk with you guys for a bit and maybe, sell you on my book or vice versa? What were you going to say, Vaughn?
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, and another thing too is we can't deny the positives in terms of that, just adding on to it, how it's like, I mean, this stream is happening because we all met on social media. I've met Pear, but Pear I knew first. Tony, I knew you first, like through this. So I've made some great friends through social media. And, so I've had a lot of great customers. People are like, but I've also met people in real life. That's another thing, is going around finding people in real life. It's why conventions work. We like those hot spots, like, okay, a lot of people that are here that share my interests. Okay. People who like, I'm still figuring out one issue when you're not going to know who your whole audience is. But that's another thing too, is sometimes I'm afraid, I'm like, are people backing Vaughn Coleman or are they backing Phenomenova? Right now they're backing for the first issue. I think it's fair to say they're backing me for the most part because they don't even know if they like Phenomenova.
Yeah.
Now for my second book. But again, you can never know if it's an exact science because I'm going to be launching a cheaper book in January. So if they can't, I'm not expecting comparable backer numbers. The first, but I don't need them. That being said, if I get them, awesome. But you know,
You always need them, Vaughn. Don't say
oh yeah,
that.
I need it, please. I'm starving. Please. Oh wait, no. Actually, you're not supposed to say that because give me, you know,
begging
you
can
know the
try it.
thing.
I've tried it. I've tried
E-begging?
I try shaming the chat individually.
Only a complete and total
About
moron.
asking if they
Only a
backed it.
complete and total moron would not back this book.
Yeah.
You know.
You know.
You know
with
the
social
like,
media.
Oh, I just thought of something. You know the propaganda poster? It's like, what did you do during the war? Oh my god, I'm gonna do that. What did you do when Phenomenova issued 2 lungs?
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, that's
did you
funny.
get the trading card on day 1? You didn't.
If it's I think it's tongue in cheek. People will laugh. It's not like You know, so with
Graham
social
Nolan
media,
does that a lot. He's great.
The other thing that kind of vexes me is you'll see these tweets that or whatever that will go viral and have 500,000 likes or something crazy, and you're like, I want to do that. I want to be that guy. How do you do that? And they're like, you turn stuff into like Peter Griffin or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like a viral joke. I'm like, okay, I just got to turn.
You got to say
something into
Hatsua
Peter
on
Griffin.
camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that there's a little bit of
Oh yeah.
you know,
Oh, hey.
seeing
Hell yeah.
controversial things from time to time in order
Oh, yeah.
to get that viral.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you 2 examples where my views spiked because I stepped in water. Like, first of all, there was one episode, the highest episode apparently of TV ever, which is absolute horseshit. That I cannot believe that. The Penguin episode 4. Now, I loved the Penguin, but I hated episode 4. And I let the world know as soon as I finished the episode, I was like, that was horrible. My buddy Bobby and I were like live texting. I was like, are you kidding me with this shit? And then TikTok, like there are over 100 comments of people who had never heard of me. Now, granted, I don't think I gained any fans. I think I just gained enemies on TikTok. They were like livid. They were like, but I remember a lot of them would be like, they'd be like, bro, no one wants to hear what you have to say, blah, blah, blah. And then one of the ones that some of them would be like, you just want a surface level. Sorry, this is just getting specific, but they were like, you just want a surface level character. I'm like, do you think she was a surface level character in the comics? And none of them ever answered that because they haven't read the comics.
Right.
Because I'd always be like, they'd be like, oh, you just want like what is it, like a one-dimensional female character. I'm like, do you think that's what she was in the comics? And they can never answer it because they haven't read Dark Victory or Long Halloween. Dark Victory is also hot take because I do love Sophia Falcone. I think, well, you guys have seen the show, right?
Yeah.
I
think-
have not. No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, you gotta watch it. It's good.
Have you read
I
Dark
haven't- I
Victory?
haven't finished it.
Oh, it's good.
Dark Victory is good. Well, anyway, I think that the killer in Dark Victory is better than the first book, personally. I think the first one works well thematically, though. But yeah, I mean, another thing was another controversy. Well, both of them, to be fair, get to the wraparound point, were fleeting. Like another controversy was Final Fantasy VII, this is an accidental one. The Penguin one, I poked the bear admittedly a little bit both times, but but like the Final Fantasy VII, I did this 2-hour video essay that the algorithm decided, like, we're not going to promote it, even though you worked there for months. So I was very upset. But I was like, okay, well, I have clips for days. So I posted a clip talking about how like Cloud and Tifa are the couple, and then there was the shippers found it after like 2 weeks. And then they were just screaming at me. Like, apparently I enraged half the fandom. So I did a stream reaction. And I got tons of views, but the problem is they're shippers. They don't care about my comics. So do you think they came back or anything else? No, it's the same thing with the people who shit on me over the Penguin. They didn't come back.
Yeah.
So rage baiting is, yes, if you want a temporary view spike. And
let me add to that. Now you can use that to your benefit in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And one of it is that you're being authentic.
Mm-hmm.
You're being true to yourself because you're holding on to your own opinions, which are also important because if everyone else can make their videos, if everyone else can post their opinions, then so can you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a matter of the way you react is, I think that's also a key factor there is if do you react negatively or do you react positively?
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how you react, those 10, 50, 100 people who were bashing you you could probably somehow persuade them to be like,
Oh, I
maybe not
did.
all of them, maybe like half of them, be like, hey, you know what? That's actually a pretty good point.
Yeah.
And then you could convince them to follow you or check on your website. Who is this guy? Who's this Von Coleman guy? And then maybe click on your link. You just never know. You always gotta find a way. Remember, you got to think of it like a tool. It's a tool. How can I convert my 200 haters into buyers?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, for example, a few of those people, they were like, they saw me go on my live stream ready to shit on me, and then afterwards some of them were apologetic, like, hey, Clareth fan, like that's the Flat Earth fans, don't attack Vaughn anymore, he's cool. Like, you can find some of these tweets, like, turns out Vaughn Coleman is actually cool. And then a few of them are like, no, I still blocked them. I'm like, okay. Some of them blocked me.
You can't win them all, dude.
Because I said two fictional characters end up together.
Yeah.
They blocked me.
Well, I try to use social media more as like a creative outlet, depending on whatever the platform is. Twitter, I think, I mean, outside of sharing opinions, which I might not be doing too much of those in the future. But I mean, outside of just kind of showing that we're still working on books, like, haikus have been weird, has opened me up to like a weird part of the Twitter community. There's like haiku hashtags, and then there's like a whole bunch of people that I met just because, like, on Saturdays I just like, oh, I have this thought, I don't want to write it down as opinion, let's like make it a haiku because I just want to, let's do a creative version of this. And that has actually gotten me a lot of follows, and even on YouTube I do analysis on storytelling in video games. And that's kind of separate. And every now and again, I'll go like, oh, hey, I'm working on my book. So I just think like trying to mold yourself into like whatever, just trying to find a good creative outlet for a social media thing, and not just trying to like emulate like the popular accounts.
That's true. That's the thing I found myself doing after I was getting certain followings, is making content for other people or what's good for the algorithm. And that's not good. You know what I find I do my best work is when I'm doing what's best for myself. Like, I'm also like, I wrote Phenomenova issue 2, and now everyone's like, oh, I want to see more Dark Club. And I'm like, he's not in issue 2. Oh no. And that's one of the things you got to go, okay, but they didn't know they wanted him until I gave it to, they might not know they want this until you give it to them. And sometimes you gotta, no one asked me, Vaughn, can you make a 2-hour video essay on Final Fantasy VII? I said, I'm making a 2-hour video essay, whether you like it or not. And then some people watched it, and most people are like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of magic. There's people on social media who like fix cars, but they're very like charismatic, or they're very knowledgeable in the way they kind of deliver the information. You're like, I don't even care about cars, but I actually want to watch more of this car content.
Yeah.
That's what's good about shorts too. Like, people who are like will be like, oh, you're like whatever making a content. You want to do something. And I got to get better at shorts. I used to be better where I do topics that I was interested in, and then people would go, this is cool. I do like, don't care. Like, I did 4 parts talking about Havoc's love life from the X-Men, because I thought it was so interesting that within like a couple months of publication, he has 3 crazy girlfriends that try to kill him. And I was like, this is fascinating. And people were like, that is, well, actually they didn't all try to kill him. One of them tried to steal his powers. The other tried to sacrifice his nephew. The other one, he's still bad. I don't know why I'm like, it's still bad.
Bad exes. Yeah.
Maybe he's a toxic person. He just attracts other toxic people.
Maybe. I think he's kind of, I think Havoc's weakness is he's a simp, to be honest with you. I think
not my boy.
I love Havoc. I love Havoc too, but dude, he falls for like, so he falls every time he'll like, and
are you telling me the Summers brothers make mistakes?
Yeah, exactly. I think Scott is made of sterner stuff. I think people give him the I'll always, sorry, just quick tangent. People are always like, oh, Cyclops is a beta. I'll be like, can you cite me some comics? And they're always like, he just is. I'm like, yeah, exactly. They're always Wolverine fans, which I don't understand. I like both characters, but like, there's this weird thing with like Wolverine fans specifically that are like, I have to hate Cyclops. No, you don't.
Right.
You can like both characters don't even hate each other that much, really. They just want to fuck the same woman.
It's just it's just over the love triangle.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I mean,
that's enough. That's enough. That's all it takes. I wanted to kind of piggyback off what Julius was saying earlier about how I do think it's really important to, and again, you kind of have to be careful because it depends on how much you want people to know about your own personal life or your own
Right.
personal struggles or who you are, or just the world outside social media. But I do think you can really use, and this is something I've been thinking a lot about recently going into the new year, of like a new marketing strategy or something that I can do. And it's kind of being more open to share where you came from, how you got here, why you make comics, what's your story, right? And that was something that Julius mentioned. It's like using storytelling in a way for marketing to kind of talk about the journey you've had making comics, or the journey you've had telling the story, or why you're telling the story. And I think, Vaughn, you're a perfect example of doing that and talking about your dad and like Phenomena Nova and the connections between that. And there's a lot of like emotional resonance to that people can latch onto, and it's not manipulative at all. It's being honest, with your audience and talking about where this comes from. And I think it's really important to where that's a key thing that I think every creator can latch onto, because every creator has, a different story, more or less, or even if their story is somewhat similar to others, that makes them even more relatable, and how they came to this story, this character, this wall they've hit creatively, anything like that. I think we always want to put our best selves on social media. We're always trying to like show, I'm really smart because I know this, or I know this lore, or this deep cut, or whatever. And I think it's hard to be vulnerable sometimes on social media because, people can drag you down even more. But sometimes you can use that. You can use your own story and the failures you've had, or the things that you struggled with, or how you came to, deal with this particular issue with this character. Maybe you can use that in a way to talk about your story in a more authentic way, that besides just, this is a story about this and buy it. I think, I think it's really important to learn, because I've gotten in the habit of using the same pitch for the book. And I think it's important to change how we're pitching things, and look at it from a different angle.
Yeah, I mean, it's also this might sound weird, but it's kind of like, because you brought that point up, and it's like I hit that on the, or I want to say hit it, but I put that at the bottom of my campaign page. But it resonates. You want to find stuff that resonates, but you don't want to just pander. But another thing is, you're going to be pitching your book a lot, posting a lot. Do you really want to say the same thing every day? If you're doing a short, you even just for your own sanity, you might find stuff. And if you can't talk about your book that often in that many different ways, if you can, then that shows that you really believe in it. And there's so many different angles to talk, which is essentially, it's a superhero origin story, right? But like, I could talk about it from so many different angles because I've seen it and I'll see it. I've had people like Jake Hyperwizard, I remember, was like, Vaughn, I'll be honest, I didn't care about your book until you said it's a reconstruction in an age of deconstruction. That was the first time I ever cared. And I've had multiple people tell me that, so shout out to him. He would give feedback, and that kind of stuff is helpful, or knowing, what resonates with people. And obviously you don't want to just pander, but that I felt resonated, but you definitely don't want to emotionally manipulate. I was careful about that too. I don't want to be like, my dad died, buy my book. Like, you want to do like something, where it's like you want, what it is. And I think because people have told me this, people liked my enthusiasm. With my video, and they can see that. Oh, I have a genuine passion for creating.
Yeah, and in your case, like the narrative, like kind of the meta narrative that helped you, that I responded to too, is the fact that you're kind of the youngest creator, or that's maybe there's a few others that are also young. But,
Noah McTutis, my mortal enemy.
Yeah. But I really like supporting young creators, because we got to help the next generation.
Oh yeah.
So that is like part of your story, I think. And then, but that'll end in like, in 2 years you'll be an old man. So
So I gotta
Yes,
soak up that
you will
young.
cross that threshold, Vaughn, that I just did a few years ago.
Well, what year is the threshold? Because I'm 25, but I look like I'm 15. So.
Oh,
It's
maybe
the
you,
wall.
yeah, maybe you're hitting it. Yeah, when
I'm
I
hitting the
after I
wall.
hit after I
No.
hit
It's
20,
30. I want to say 30.
Okay.
yeah,
It's when
after
you're
I hit
extra
25, I felt old. You know,
Well,
I was
after I
like,
hit
oh.
25,
Oh, boy.
30, I'm gonna erase streams of me saying my age and then gaslight the audience into saying I'm still my.
Yeah, you know, if you want to be depressed, yeah, look up what other artists did when they're 25. Like I think
Oh, yeah,
it was like
God, yeah, no.
Leonardo da Vinci like painted the Sistine Chapel when he's 25 or
Fuckers.
something like that.
Yeah.
Well,
And
they didn't have
then-
social media to distract them back then. So
Yeah.
Yeah, wait. So that
Yeah.
brings up a good point. I mean, how much like time have I wasted on social media? You know what I mean? It's benefited me a lot, but they've also wasted. There are so many comics I could have read if I wasn't watching live streams or doing this or
Right.
movies. You know, it's a
Mhm.
distraction, and that's why it's a matter of it's a tool that you have to use. You can't let the tool use you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I find-
Make it high in your own supply.
Yeah, I find
Oh.
it's good to compartmentalize social media. So it's just like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. It's like, all right, this is anything you want to do with social media. Like this is the time to do it, and then you shut the window, and then you carry on with your day. So I think that kind of helps, kind of compartmentalizing it.
See, on paper, that's what I do is I make a lot of my shorts earlier in the morning, upload them, and then I go about my day. But then I'll find myself scrolling, and I'm like, stop.
Yeah, it's
But,
tough to not want to chase that engagement dragon.
Because it's instant gratification. The problem.
Yeah, it's that dopamine hit of like, oh, I got a notification or I got a like. You know, after you upload a video, you know, anytime I upload a video essay on YouTube or something, you know, I'm always checking to see, well, how many views does it have at this hour? Does it have any comments? You know, and you're trying to like keep up with it because you also don't want to miss your opportunity, right? To like be a part of it. And you know, sometimes, you know, because I follow so many people and I'm always trying to like see what everyone's working on. And sometimes it's so overwhelming, but like checking social media different times of the day, I've been able to see what people are working on better than just checking it, you know, once in the morning or like once at night sometimes. And, you know, because I'll miss out or I'll feel like I missed out on, you know, what a friend is working on or an update that someone had, or you know, sometimes it's drama where I'm like, wait, this happened like 24 hours ago. Like when did that happen?
Yeah,
but like it's really difficult because everyone kind of has their own day to day, right? And how you're able to work with social media. And you know, I've tried different little experimentations where, you know, I've done some stuff on TikTok and I've had some ideas about like, how could I incorporate, you know, comics into doing shorts, you know, because I really have a hard time following trends. I really don't like it. I'm always like, I just want to talk about the things that I really want to talk about.
Yeah.
And because if I'm going to spend so much time on something, which, you know, shorts can, yeah, I mean, it might be 60 seconds or whatever, but, you know, depending on how many times you're recording it, how many times you make mistakes, how many times you're editing it, you know, how long that takes.
Yeah, it could take
It just becomes, it feels so unsatisfying to me because I'm like, I just want to write. Like, this is all I asked to do. This is all I ever wanted to do.
And do you ever do this? You check something where you check something while you're writing and you just because you're like in a rut and you go to your phone for instant gratification.
Yes. Oh my god, all the time.
Yeah, you're
and I hate
like
that. And I'm like, stop.
You're in a dead zone. Yeah.
Or you listen to or you start scrolling through memes because it's like, no, if you had taken it sometimes writing isn't always satisfying, or you do 10 hours of writing right in a day, and then or however long it is, and then it's like maybe you got a couple pages, but if you just start tweeting out, you get likes instantly, and you're like, wow, people are like it. No one saw what you would just spend 10 hours on.
Yeah.
But everyone saw this instantly.
It's you know? Yeah, it's difficult because like you have to this is something Rob Guillory talked about in some of his videos on YouTube that I really enjoyed, and it's something that resonated with me. Was like, it's okay, and this is where I have to like combat myself a little bit, because you know what people are talking about, right? It's like you see what's on social media, you see all the different opinions on this news story or this comic book topic or this industry, reveal or whatever. And again, there's that part of you that's like, I want to engage in this conversation. I want to be a part of the conversation, but maybe you don't have anything interesting to say. And so like you're looking for something interesting to say. And I'll find that within myself where I'm like, I just don't have an opinion on this.
Yeah.
Right. Like I don't
really, opinion.
Like I don't really care about this. But the way social media works is that it's asking you to have an opinion on this. It wants you to have an opinion
right away too.
So that you can be a part of that conversation. And so what I've been trying to do is change the way I think about that and just focus on the things I really want to talk about, the things that I could stand by when I post it, the things that I can be like, okay, no matter what happens, I believe in what I'm saying. This wasn't like an impulsive thing that I just had to get out of my system right away. And that's what I've found. I find doing video essays or newsletters to be so much more better for me, because I'm able to lay out my thoughts and what I think about something in, ad nauseum almost, to the nth degree, where I can just get it all out. So that way, if anyone has the wrong idea about what I mean or what I'm trying to say, at least I have all of this to back it up, or at least all this context to give this, so that I can answer those questions and we can actually have a meaningful conversation. Because a lot of the time,
what is that meaningful?
It's all devolution.
I've never heard of this.
What is that? I never heard of that before. Meaningful conversation. I don't know what that is.
I don't like. Yeah. No, I just normally yell at someone, block them. That's it. I don't believe in that. By the way, for the record, anyone who disagrees with me on anything, you are banned.
Banned, blocked, reported.
We have. I mean, you bring up a lot of good points, and that's why, like, I don't do videos as much anymore, but those used to be so satisfying. My favorite videos, because I have a lot of videos on my channel. I mean, live streams count as live streams, and shorts are the most instant gratification, and those are what I'm doing now. But that's the lowest effort. Those videos, you'd lay out your thoughts, you edit the videos, you do that, and it was almost more satisfying. Like, I slaved over that Final Fantasy VII video.
Yeah.
And it didn't get a lot, but I feel great that I created it. There's a lot of times where I could put out, you could put out whatever. There's no short that I'm more proud of than that Final Fantasy VII video. Although part of me wishes I had compiled some of my X-Men videos, shorts, into videos, but I did X-Men videos, and then I just never finished. I wrote a third video essay that was 17 pages, and I never finished it. But the point is, like, I like what you're saying, where it's you have thoughts and stuff, and you want to compile them. But it's also a thing. God forbid you ever just watch something and you just don't feel like making a video on it, or you don't feel like, maybe I want to skip it for a bit. Nope, it's not going to be trending anymore by the time you come to your.
I find for myself, I don't care most of the time.
Right.
I'm like,
right.
I don't care. Like, I don't care. I'm just gonna keep scrolling. I don't care about this particular topic or whatever. And so I just move on, and then like Nandor, you just sometimes you do tweet stuff out where I do interact with you, and we have small little interaction, and those are what help me keep my sanity, is to find people who, okay, I know this person's gonna not react negatively and like lash out at me, so I'm gonna interact with this person.
Yeah, anytime I see you tweet, Julius, or like post something, I'm just like, yay, like this is gonna be a fun conversation, like I'm excited to interact with you, rather than some people where I'm like, I don't know if I should.
Yeah. Like, it's just like like some tweets when I read some of the posts, I'm like, wait, is this like
bait?
Yeah, is this
Yeah.
bait? Am I being
Yeah.
baited in that right now? Like, if I
Yeah.
react to this, am I going to be dogpiled by a bunch of their followers or people who like are fans of this person? And so
Yeah.
I just go, nah, forget it. I'm just going to keep on scrolling, doing my thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
How many tweets do you have that you like write it out and then you think and then you delete it or like say
Yeah.
Oh, dude! Oh my
there's so
gosh!
many.
A whole bunch of I have a whole bunch of drafts in my draft
yeah.
folder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, it's
especially
not worth it.
yeah, especially with like my experience with Twitter, where like I post something I think is pretty like solid, and I've thought about it before I tweet it, and then it just like turns into a whole kerfuffle. So it's just I have kind of like the opposite experience where it's like I post something, I'm like, well, hopefully this doesn't result in a pile on, so we'll see where.
Oh yeah,
where it
I've
goes.
sent tweets that I think will get reactions that don't, and then I've tweeted stuff that I'm like very mundane, and they'll read some words that were literally the opposite of the tweet. I'm like, it's like there's that one. Have you ever seen that one tweet where it's like, Twitter is the one place where you could go, I like waffles. They'll be like, so you hate pancakes then? No,
Yeah.
that's completely different.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, 2 comments I've had. Brony for life. Shorts suck content wise. They only satisfy the Zoomer, TikTok, brain rot, idiotic,
Okay.
brain rot addiction that everybody has. There is a nugget of truth in there.
You're wise, Brody for life.
Wait,
Going
wait.
for
My
life.
Little Pony doesn't? No. Okay.
What Geeks Do Network. Hey Vaughn, what did you think about the drones in New Jersey? Have you guys been seeing that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
My
Yeah,
mom,
well,
I
what's
was
up with
working.
that?
I was working today. My mom goes, Vaughn, you need to watch the news right now. And she goes, this is what's happening in her state. And Mr. Berger had tweeted about it, but I had thought it was like, because people kept saying drones. It's interesting. It must be. I thought I heard someone say aliens, and I was like, that's cool. And then they're like, oh, they're Iranian. This might be an actual problem. And I was
Yeah,
like,
I
oh.
saw that headline today.
I was like,
It
I
was
would have rather be aliens, to be honest.
I prefer alien.
Like aliens, there's a chance they might be friendly, but if they're invaded, that's why am I? You guys go somewhere else. Why am I? You guys take them.
Yeah, I wonder why. I mean, there must be something good in New Jersey that they want.
There is not.
Maybe they want
I'm
the J
here.
subs.
That's about it.
They're just huge Sopranos fans. Just
There you go.
You know what's funny? I've never seen.
Like, take
I
us
just
to the
wanted
home
to see
of
New
this Tony
Jersey. They were
Soprano.
like, I need to see this.
We
Yeah,
need to see the
and
home
then-
of
yeah.
Tony Soprano. Take us there.
I still
Yeah.
have to watch The Sopranos, and I'm from New Jersey.
oh my god, that's such a great show.
Well,
Oh
I
my
mean,
god, it came out the
brace
same year I
yourself-
was born.
Brace yourself for greatness, Vaughn,
I will.
Yes.
Yeah.
because it's the best TV show, in my opinion, of all
Oh
time.
shit! I actually know some things about those. There kind of is. It kind of is what
Okay,
some
so-
stuff go. Kind of is
Right.
what
What,
It's crazy
um,
that the government doesn't know what these drones are.
allegedly.
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 Yeah,
Allegedly.
you don't know what those are.
Yeah, I mean, so that's a good thing about social media. Although, to be fair, my mom was watching the TV. But social media also distracted me from this, But they also now I know. But it's like, okay, like someone got shot, and there already is like memes. It's like I found out about like a major event through memes. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good. Like, I'm debating.
It's the modern day, like the modern age of communication. I feel like
But like,
they kind of make it. It's sad to say it this way, but it's kind of the truth, and they kind of
Yeah.
it makes light of a heavy situation.
I
Yeah,
guess, but
it's-
I
it's
also
like
feel
a-
like
It's a communal shorthand, like
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
everyone can kind of grab onto it really easily and know what you're talking about, but
Yeah,
it kind of undermines the value of what it is at the same time.
and it can also work reverse. So if, like, say for instance, I have no idea about the event, but then I saw the memes, and then I'll go, "What's this from?" And then you do research, and you find out where it
Yeah.
came from,
Yeah.
so you can understand the reference. So it's a double-edged sword of sorts in a lot of ways. It could be good and bad depending on how you take it in.
so. Apparently, there's an arsenal near me. Well,
Okay.
not near me, an hour from me.
Oh,
So that could
Interesting.
be. Well, I mean, hopefully they don't. I listen. I'm just saying, if that drone flies near me, I'm strapped. All right, like come at me, pussies. Come at me. All right.
This might be like a loaded question, but
Yeah.
I wondered if you guys, if you want to kind of talk amongst yourselves about it, but I wondered if generally speaking, if there was something that that you learned in 2024 with social media that was really helpful for you, and something you want to try new in 2025? You know, that you're excited to try, you're thinking about trying that you didn't in 2024. You know, it can be a small, little, or big thing, but I just wondered if, what has helped you guys this year? What do you think has been a really positive experience about being on social media?
Ooh, good
I
question.
mean, I think for me, the thing that I learned was not to put too much stock in kind of like the fanfic that people write about you on the internet.
There you
Oh
go.
yeah.
Like
Well, there we go.
let most of that just kind of go off the back. So I think in the beginning of the year I was really uptight about it, and now it's just like I'm just sort of like
Yeah.
desensitized.
old
Like,
After
hat,
the first
right?
couple of times, and you
Yeah.
get like dragged on social media, you go, okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Now
like-
when it happens, I think about those penguins from the Mario Brothers movie where they're throwing all the snowballs at Bowser.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's like after a
Hey,
certain point,
you
That's
yield.
good.
that's how I feel. After a certain point, like at the beginning of the year, I'm like, oh my god, and now I'm kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
Like now I literally laugh about I'm like, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it's like you got to think about, oh my god, so many people are hating on you. Really? Is it that many? I mean, compared to think about like who's backing your books is part of the thing too, and all the people who most of the people don't know you exist, don't know what any of this stuff is. I remember I had a friend that was following me on Twitter. They're like, dude, why are people mad at you? Like, what's going on? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of have to realize when you step out of bubbles, there are things that matter in bubbles that either won't matter in a couple of months or just don't matter to the rest of the world, that don't even exist to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, kind of just lessons for next year. I mean, I could talk about stuff that apparently I did a lot right on my first campaign, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
but,
and that's good too. I mean, learning what works, man. Like if we all could if we all could do that and like, carry on with that, because if you find something that works, because I feel like I'm always experimenting with different things and trying to find that. And so, for me, it's like talking to the right people and engaging with the right people and taking advantage of a lot of the like indie comics promos, on Twitter. Like those are always very helpful. I enjoy doing those. So I, things like that and focusing more on my newsletter. That was something I neglected in my first few years of making comics. And I really made that a priority this year. And it's really been beneficial for me, I think, because I've been able to, like, again, voice my opinion on things, talk about things that are interesting to me, but not feel like I'm constrained to the character limit. If I don't want to like pay for X, which is really annoying for me. I'm like, man, I don't want to pay like $12 for this, but
Right.
I don't want to pay $12 to get addicted to something that I'm gonna hate myself for.
Yeah,
But-
there's a lot,
but it's
like, what I did-
necessary, right? Like that's where it comes in. Like I know maybe a lot of this conversation has been like what social media is like the bad of it, but it really is a tool. It really is something that we can all use better, I think, and we can all use to make the story about our comics and who we are better in a more inviting place. But it just gets so bogged down by all the so many other people on there and trying to sift through everything.
Right.
It becomes really overwhelming. And
But there are good things
Yeah.
that happen. Like this year, I've had more people like on Twitter like post about Star Noir and like show off their books and like make.
yeah, I've noticed that.
Oh, that is
was
the
really cool to
greatest
see
feeling.
that.
So
I'm
like,
sorry I wasn't able to get it, by the way.
Yeah.
There's always
yeah, so
million
like
books.
people are kind of showing it off and like that never happened before to me. So that's kind of been like a good rewarding thing, and it really offset like when you have like a negative experience on the platform. You're
Yeah.
like, well, all these people think you're great because of the book.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's like a lot of the people too that are like that'll complain. I'm like, did you guys even buy my book? Like, and then I'll have people that I'm like,
Did you even read it?
yeah, yeah. They're like, oh, like if someone yells at me, I'll be like, oh, what's your backer number? Oh, you know, it's like, but I mean, obviously, oh, Mr. Celebrity here, yeah, is working with Mark Millar, but he's not allowed to talk about it.
Dang, I was gonna ask that question. I wanted to know.
Yeah, I did too. I don't know.
I was too, but I saved it in my draft box in my head.
Yeah. That's like the answer that could help for all our problems is just work with Millar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, congrats on that, by the way. I think that is so exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm looking forward to being able to talk more, but yeah, I'm not sure, it's just like NDA and I don't know what's going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, understandable.
Unforgivable. Yes, I brought you here to bring the scoop. Now I don't. Now,
Now I don't need you anymore.
Yeah, now I don't need you anymore. I came. Yeah. You were supposed to bring clout. With Mark Millar clout. In fact, Mark Millar was supposed to come on actually with you. It was a package deal. I thought that was no, this is all right. So real quick, I want to transition into a round of promotion, and then we'll kind of go back to it. That topic because I think that's a great question. Are you guys cool with that, or do you want to put it off a bit?
Yeah.
So Perry, why don't you talk about Nosferatu?
Yeah, I've gotten. Speaking of pitching, I feel like I'm bad at pitching this one because it's the second re-release, so it's not like meant to be a huge thing. But this is like for people who missed the first one. 2024. The new movie's coming out in a few weeks, and so I'm like kind of trying to ride that wave a little bit. If anyone wants to, see the movie and read this book, I googled it too, and there's one other Kickstarter for an adaptation of Nosferatu graphic novel, and it looks good too. But in my opinion, mine looks better. But I'm like and I did mine in 2022, which was the centennial of Nosferatu. So I beat everyone. Like I beat the movie and that other book. So points there, I guess.
You were first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, he ugly. Yeah, Nosferatu is ugly.
Yeah. Brony, you might like it if you pretend Nosferatu's My Little Pony or something.
You'd have to make a lot of leaps. I think that a standard human has more similar traits.
Yeah,
I still have to watch that movie, by the way, because I'm a film boy, and
there's two movie adaptations, one silent film and one Werner Herzog from the 70s. They're both good.
And then Robert Eggers now, which I've liked everything of his that I've seen. I'm really looking forward to the most. Wait, what was it? The Witch, Lighthouse. Oh no, actually, I liked. What was the third one? Oh my god,
It was the Viking
The
one.
The Northman.
Yeah,
that was good.
Mm-hmm.
We saw an exclusive screening of The Lighthouse, and I liked it, but I don't think I liked it as much as everyone else. But like my school, Robert Eggers came and he talked out. He was really cool.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I think I like The Northman better. Northman was insane.
Yeah, and with hey, did you just update it? Because you killed an angel if the
I didn't update it. No.
Yeah, never do that.
I didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Kickstarter does it on its own anyway, so you don't really have to play that game.
Yeah, Kickstarter. Oh, that's another thing. I lead further into the Kickstarter crowd is another lesson I've learned.
Oh, yeah, I want to dabble with that too. And
you should.
One last thing with Nosferatu. Well, this is on Kickstarter, so I'm getting a little feel for that. But the fact that it was interesting adapting a silent film pretty directly, and just seeing how the pacing works once you turn it into a comic, because the pacing actually kind of speeds up. Like the silent film is it's one of the best silent films, and it's awesome. But it's like a little dated. It's a little boring, by modern standards. And the book, while changing basically nothing, is not boring because you can just flip the pages faster, So, and it has a interesting structure, like the fact that it's empowered by being able to read it at a pace that isn't boring. The book itself, or the movie itself, it's a little bit kind of before they figured out. I don't know, 3-act structure, hero's journey stuff, where every movie kind of starts to get the same. Nosferatu's all over the place. It has little asides and little short stories within the story. and it has switches protagonists halfway through, and it does all this crazy stuff that's I think is really fun. So
How big is the book? How many pages?
it's 66
Wow.
pages.
Very
So
cool.
almost 666, which would be cool.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wait, how
But
many
and then
pages?
there's a
600?
gallery, so the book is actually 90 because I put some art in the back.
six.
But the book itself is 66.
Damn. That's cool. I like the stuff that I've read. I want to read interactivity and this. I'm strapped right now, but I definitely want to get. Yours is on my list to get. I mean, listen, if I could get every book, I would.
I hear you.
You know, Earthbound on Fun My Comic. I read that whole thing. I read all of Earthbound in one day. Years of work, pair.
Yeah. I
One
know,
day.
I know. I'm okay with that. That's cool. Though. Yeah.
Makes you feel great.
It is funny.
Yeah.
though.
Like
It
Phenomenova,
took so long.
it's so long, and then I just have someone be like, "Yeah, I just read it." I'm like, yeah, but it means it reads fast, though. I will say that's the nice thing.
I noticed that when I'm
question
reading
is-
comics, I'll remind myself. I'll be like, I'm not even looking at the art, and then I'll slow down and look at. Some
Yeah,
art.
I'll oftentimes because you just breeze the word balloons, and sometimes you
Yeah.
have to go like it. Normally, if it's a double page spread, I go, okay, yeah, I should probably look at these. Okay,
Yeah,
that's pretty good. And I remember like sometimes I quit like when I first started reading comics, like, all right, am I allowed to turn the page? Yeah, I can turn the page now. Okay, cool. Because you'd be like, they spend so much time on that panel, and you're just like,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. Yeah. So this book looks great. And then we'll move on to. I'll just make them next. Vigilant Fury. Tell everyone about your book.
Yeah, Vigilant Fury is it's a story about a woman who gets kidnapped from her vacation, and she finds herself inside a shipping container, and she has to fight her way out to freedom before she hits international waters and gets lost forever in the human trafficking world.
Damn.
It's a fast-paced story. You know, I'm an action guy. I grew up you know, watching 80s action movies, and I've always been a fan of like fast-paced stories, and this story was kind of like it's just an idea I had of like, well, you know, because I was really knee deep in research of human trafficking at the time, and I was just so you know, just like heartbroken of all these stories I heard of people who survived it, and people, you know, parents who've lost children to that kind of thing. And then it just hit me and say, well, what would happen if, like, say one of these people actually fought back? What would that look like? And so that's kind of where the seed came from. And it has a lot of homages to, you know, my favorite movies like Die Hard and Alien, the first Alien movie. Kind of had this idea of like a metallic labyrinth of sorts that she has to go through to fight off the traffickers. And so, Anthony Gambino did a fantastic job drawing the book.
Did he draw it twice? Was that part of the story? He like started over.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So the original idea was that he was gonna do a stark black and white style, kind of like a la Frank Miller. Yeah. And then halfway through, he was like, "I'm not feeling this anymore, man. Like, I don't feel. It's not fun to draw this way. Like for me, I'm not feeling it." So I was like, "Okay, well, what do you want to do?" He's like, "I want to change the style." So like, I was like, "Okay, well, how about going forward, change the style, but we're gonna have to obviously update our backers and let them know there's gonna be a further delay of the book." And so, fine, we did it. Thankfully, our backers were gracious enough to allow us to do that, and we finally finished it. And I just fulfilled it, so people are finally getting the books.
Nice.
Cool.
It's 80 pages long.
The art looks great.
Yeah.
I think I backed this one, so I'll check my mail.
Yeah, check your mail. You should have it.
Yeah.
80 pages long. It was originally supposed to be 40, a 40-page one shot, but as I kept writing it, it kept growing.
I'm used to it.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay. And then I did another edit, hoping to cut out pages, and then it grew 10 pages.
Yeah.
And it kept going and going until finally it reached 80, and I had to, you know, call Anthony and say, "Hey, I'm sorry, man. I know we agreed to 40 pages, but here's the script. If you
clear your calendar, bro.
40 pages, then be my guest." And he read it. It took him about a week to read it, and he came back to me and says, "Yeah, we can't cut this. We got to do 80 pages." So
That's cool.
thankfully he jumped on and
God bless.
committed.
I read I used to, you sent me the digital copy. I read like the first act of it. There was like this cool little moment where she's fighting these goons in the shipping container, and then the one goon that she like kicks him in the face and he falls backwards into another panel. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and that was the great thing about working with This is his first book, by the way.
Oh,
this is his first official comic book work.
That's awesome.
And so when I wrote the script, I told him, do you want to do Marvel method, or do you want me to do like the full on, like I pretty much tell you exactly what to draw? And he told me, do the Marvel method and I'll figure it out. So that's all those camera angles that you see in the book, that's pretty much Anthony.
Wow.
Cool.
I can't wait. I backed Reset Protocol and this, and so I think you just you sent those out, so I can't wait to read.
They should all get those books.
First time hearing of it, but I love it already.
Yeah, it's a like I said, 80 pages long. There's an extra 20 pages of behind the scenes stuff for this run because it's kind of our thank you to the backers for waiting for so long.
Yeah.
And also January 10th, I'm going to open up my own live stream to backers and pretty much have like a live letters page of sorts and have people come on the show and let me know their thoughts on both Vigilant Fury and Reset Protocol. So that should be a lot of fun. Cool. To hear from backers and see whether or not they enjoyed it or maybe they didn't enjoy it, because I think that's another, you mentioned earlier about learning from social media or what you gain from it, and I think what needs to happen going forward is that we need to hear from backers. We need to hear from people who back the book and actually tell us what they really think about it and not get our feelings hurt too bad.
Yeah.
And being able to sit there and what I call let it burn. Let the words burn, because granted, there will be some people who just want to just hurt you because they have nothing better to do. So it's good practice to filter that out and to realize, okay, you're not really serious. You just want to hate for the sake of hating. But those backers, those readers who can sit there and say, well, on page 15, I noticed that you did this and it didn't really land. And execute. Then you could be okay, cool. That's what you want. That's what I'm looking for from people who read Vigilant Fury and Reset Protocol. I want to hear from those readers, and if you liked it, great. Let me know why you liked it. Did you like the sequence on page this, or did you like the moment here, and so on and so forth. So I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. That's awesome, man. It's first time hearing of it. I definitely want to bring you back on again, talk to you more at length, because
it's in demand. So it's still open. So if you haven't backed it, you can still back it until we're going to close it. I think February. I think that's what we did.
Well, and it's an amazing price for 80 pages. I mean, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
It was during when the economy was bad, so that's when we're like, hey, let's do low price
so
point.
Good.
Wow, $15 for that is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't able to get to it beforehand.
That's all good, man.
You know what's even better price? You could sign up for Nander's book.
It's free.
All you have to do is click one button.
All you have to do is sign up. Yeah.
That's literally it. So you think that's a good deal?
Seriously?
Oh, wait. Is that what you're saying?
No.
The book
Serious?
Yeah, no. Nander has to now you're held to that standard. Now you do have to give away 200.
Yeah, now it has to be. It has to be free. Yes.
No, I was saying you could sign up for free.
Yeah. So right now, this is the pre-launch page for seasons volumes 1 and 2. This is my supernatural slice of life, grounded superhero story that follows Fletcher Eames through 1 year of his life, and with each passing season, his abilities change. And this is my first comic that I ever published. It was Seasons Volume 1 and Volume 2. They both came out as hardcover, kind of like collector editions. And I'm wanting to, before we get to Volume 3, I wanted to re-release these as trade paperback editions and to find a new audience, because it's been a few years since they've released, and get people revved up and prepared and hyped up for Volume 3. So early next year, I'm going to be doing this kind of second chance campaign for Seasons where people can get in on the ground floor before we launch Volume 3. And so we're going to have some new covers from the series artist Anthony Gonzalez Clark, and we'll also have some variant covers. Once we hit 75 signups, I will reveal the full Rob Willis colored cover
Nice.
for Volume 1. So I actually own the original art for
wow.
for it. So and I'm debating on whether I should put that up for the campaign if anyone wants it. But it's a beautiful piece, and I love it. So but yeah, at 75 signups, we'll reveal that, and the more signups we get, the more covers we'll reveal. I'll have 3 covers for each volume. And if you want to scroll, Vaughn, a little bit, there's some more
I don't.
art.
You know what? I'm not.
Yeah. So that's the cover. That's the full cover for Volume 1, and that's by Anthony Gonzalez Clark. He's the artist of the book. And then so there's some art from Volume 1. It's black and white. Each volume's over 100 pages, and so
Wow.
it's a big series. It's going to be 4 volumes altogether, and so that's the cover for Volume 2. And yeah, so this has been years in the making. I've been working on this with Anthony for many years, and as I've been working on Man-Child and the Fabled Offering and Lifeline and all my other projects, 2025 is the year of seasons again for me. So I'm really bringing this back as hard as I can, and as energetic and interesting as I can to bring this back to people, and get them on the ground floor. So I'm really excited to be returning to this story, be returning to Fletcher's journey. It's very nostalgic for me. I was going through a lot of my old notes because I started writing this book and coming up with ideas for it when I was like 17, 18 years old, and finally being able to put it out there and revisiting it and editing it and all those types of things. It's been a lot of fun. It's been kind of a trip down memory lane to bring this back to people.
That's fun, man. What a crazy debut. Wow. It's nuts.
Yeah. I really went all in when I started making comics, and I wanted people to have a meaty book, something able to they could really dive into, get invested in. And I feel bad that's taken so long to get to Volume 3, but we'll be releasing that next year too, and crowdfunding that. And so it means a lot to me. This series is it's in my DNA. It really started everything for me, and so I'm very protective of it. I love it a lot. It's very meaningful to me. And Fletcher's story, his powers change with every season. So each book he'll deal with these different abilities that he has to cope with, and that he has to understand, and he's trying to figure out where these abilities are coming from. And he's also overcoming and fighting different emotional but also physical antagonists and obstacles that he has to get through to find who he really is meant to be. It's a story about purpose. It's a story about finding meaning. It's a late coming of age type of story where you're struggling with relationships and family issues and your own depression and things that are holding you back. And a lot of the powers and the villains and everything that he's going up against are all kind of metaphors for these real demons that he's trying to figure out and fight.
Gotcha.
Wow.
That sounds amazing, man. God help me, my wallet. All right.
Hey, sign up is free, man.
Sign up is free. So you got time to get that money in order. And
That's
then
right.
Finally, Star Noir Book 3, another great looking book. Tell us about it, Tony.
Okay, this is LA Noir meets the X-Files. You got this
Oh,
1940s detective who teams up with this gray alien to stop a shapeshifter who's killing LAPD officers in Central Station. It's just a 6-part murder mystery. This is the 3rd book. It's just been kind of an incredible ride. I mean, what can I say? People are really into it, very excited to see it. This one, each book is about 40-ish pages. This one's going to be 50. There's just more stuff that happens in it. Because we've set up so much in the first 2 books, and there's some payoffs that happen in this one. But yeah, you can always read the first 10 pages for free. So you don't have to take my word for it. But I mean, Julius and Nandor have read the books, so they can totally vouch for them.
Yeah.
You should back this
Fantastic
book. It's a great book. It's a great
And
book.
yeah, I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but I think Star Noir's got a pretty bright future ahead of it. I think there's going to be some things that happen with it you see going forward. So I'm very, very excited to do that. And then meanwhile, while I'm doing that, I'm working on a whole Western right now. That's really fun. And yeah, so just trying to get this book out and just trying to not have burnout. Because working on this and another book.
You're halfway there, right?
Yeah.
After this one. So.
And what's still crazy about Star Noir, we're on the third book. Like before the first book, I was gonna quit comics. Like I was about done. Like I had made a cyberpunk comic. It was really tough to make. There were so many ups and downs, and I was sort of in this kind of frustrated kind of like loop where it's like I want to make a really prestige looking book, but it costs so much money to like make a book like that, and I don't have the social following. And then Star Noir was just like putting all the chips and just like letting it ride, and just like, all right, well, this is gonna work, or I'm going out in a blaze. And here we are.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah,
I think everyone should do that. Like anyone who feels like they're about to quit, that's when they should like just like risk it all and see what happens. Because I feel like when you do that, sometimes you'll only see the benefit of that and the fruits of your labor, because it's like if the people want it, and if you're passionate about it and you're doing something that looks as good as this looks, like it should pay off, because all your, like you said, you laid all your cards on the table and you put your chips down, you're like, this is what I got, this is it.
So it's really fun to make. If you love the X-Files, it's got a lot of that kind of spooky aliens in it, and it also has like dialogue that's like ripped from every 1940s film that I've ever watched. It's really fun to make. I wish I could talk about the Western, because man, there's so many great things we're doing in that.
You can always come back.
Oh, I know, yeah, but I just like Star Noir. I want to show it when it's like complete and a fully formed idea.
And again, I want to get all these books, so I'm gonna try. Yeah, you guys feel free to keep bothering me. Obviously, you guys are always welcome to. This looks great. Star Noir is great. LA Confidential was on TV recently, and I was just watching the ending of that movie. You guys all seen that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
love that movie.
Dude, that last shootout.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh man,
shotguns to the chest.
Oh, so good.
That was a pleasant surprise when I first saw the movie, because I thought it was just gonna be nothing but a talking head movie. But that ending was like, oh yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I'm a cop. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. That ending is nuts. The cast, that movie, it's just so great. It's so great. I remember watching that in a film class, actually. And I remember, like, because everyone in the class was like, wait, well, all right, maybe not everyone in the chat has seen it. I won't spoil, but it's a good one. LA Confidential is a good one. So getting back, so what were we going to say?
Vaughn, just real quick, I got to go in 10 minutes, just FYI.
Okay, gotcha. You got a stream?
No, I just got to, like, eat some dinner. I'm fancy.
You got to eat?
Yeah.
Our guests, my guests are not allowed to have human rights. I don't know what made you think that you could like eat.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Eat on stream. No.
Yeah. No, do an ASMR video, dude.
Yeah.
We'll do
like some spaghetti, like slurp it up.
We'll just watch you eat.
Yeah.
Really awkward. No, but so Nander, I think the last question were like lessons you learned, which I wanted to dive into more. But Parrot, why don't we go with you? Because you're heading out soon. Julius, did you say you were gonna head out soon too?
Yeah. My wife is like, when you coming down for dinner? So,
all right.
Right,
So why don't you guys?
We're Pacific Coast.
Did you guys learn your lesson? Did you guys learn your lessons? All right. What were the lessons you learned?
I was gonna say one is I don't know how you'd frame it, but I do like in person. Like, and I need to do more. I've only done a little bit,
Yeah.
but I have
Yeah.
gotten pretty good sales, really good networking, and it
Mhm.
kind of like boosting of relationships online where you can. It's unfortunate that this is like not. I don't know if it's necessary, but like a little more trust, where because online sometimes
Yeah.
it's like people you think are your friend are end up
Oh
being
yeah,
jackasses
that's
or
huge.
whatever.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, so just like stuff in person, I would just want to do as much. It's it's expensive to travel, but uh, I don't know. I think it is fruitful in a lot of ways. But
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, and who knows? I don't know how like Mark Miller found you, but like it was probably social media, right? Like, I mean,
Mhm.
you would imagine, or like there's a lot of perks to that because putting your art out there and the connections you've made over the years with other people, like that can all snowball. That can snowball to different opportunities and things that you started here and then in a few years you're over here, and it's all because you were able to make those connections, and you were putting your stuff online and out there for people to see.
yeah, in that case too, it was a double thing of me being helped or whatever. But it was your
Yeah.
boy Zach did a review of Earthbound, which I didn't ask him to do, but this was like way
Yeah.
early days, and he was like glowing about it.
I heard him
And
call you an actual genius once. I do remember.
yeah, and like because of that, he and I started working together because he just really liked Earthbound. But
Yeah.
your boy Zach or Mark Miller saw that video and then followed me on Twitter, and I didn't know what to do at first. I was like, and then I
Yeah.
eventually did message him. I was like, "Did you follow me because of that video?" And he's like, "Absolutely, kid. Been following you for a while. Like, keep up the good work." Something like that. And so
That's awesome.
we were just like pen pals ish because I had a little rule in my head too. I was like, don't be needy, don't be needy, don't be needy.
Right.
And I'd still be
Yeah.
like a little needy once in a while, but I would like email him every 6 months and show him something I'm working on, and we
Yeah.
have a little exchange. And so that was like 4 years of that. And then he really liked some old art I posted that had been drawn traditionally, and he's like, you should like go back, do some of this too. Like, don't do just all digital stuff. And I was like, if he
Yeah.
actually is telling me that, I need to do it because that was
Right.
almost the first time he'd actually like straight up given me advice. And
That's cool.
So I bought a scanner and I bought like the 102 nib pens, and I started working on all that stuff again. And I had a plan in my head. I was like, in a year, I'm gonna do some of my own books traditionally, and then go to Mark Miller in a year and be like, I'm ready. And but he messaged me like right when I was in the middle of that process. So like
That's so cool.
yeah.
That's
So, and that's
awesome.
kind of
No,
Where
there's
I'm at
there's
now.
something. What did this might be like a sidebar, but like, what have you found? Do you prefer one or the other, or are you enjoying the traditional work? Like, are you finding that like more satisfying?
Yeah, I kind of like them both. I do think traditional. It's more satisfying. It's a
That's
little
my
slower.
artist I just had on my show recently. He said the same thing, that traditional is slower but more satisfying.
Yeah, and at first it was more intimidating and stressful, but I've been getting a little more comfortable with it, and then but some of the being a little uncomfortable with it, I think, is like good for me because
Yeah, it's a
even
challenge, right?
yeah, like it helps keep your brain elasticity, like whatever, keep you youthful or whatever.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
We could kind of start wrapping up anyway if you guys have to head out soon. Now that we promoted it.
Yeah,
You guys want?
it's a great when you have creators kind of reach out to you. I was recently DM'd by Scott Snyder and followed.
Sweet.
Hey,
Nice,
that
dude.
was nuts so bananas.
Yeah,
So I had one of
great.
my classic Twitter opinions, and I got a DM from Scott. I thought it was a fake account because I was like, no, there's no way.
Yeah.
No, sure enough, that it was definitely him. He's definitely following me, and he was just like, yeah, I disagree about this and blah blah blah. And I was like, it was weird because it was like, how are you gonna DM me like you're not Scott? Like it was like
Yeah.
me writing back was just like, was this happening right now? Like this is
Yeah. It's like if
Are
it
you a
was
bot?
fake.
Question
Yeah.
If it
mark.
was,
You know,
yeah,
like
if it was
what?
fake, it would be like, "Hello, I am Scott Snyder. I
Hi.
need funding for a new comic. Please send to me."
Dude, I remember I had that. I love those kinds of fake accounts. I had I remember because it was just so funny. It was so random. It was just a random Discord friend request. And it's like Donald J. Trump, and it's like, "Hello, Vaughn. I want to make America great again." I was like, "What?" So like, hello, hello. It is me, Scott Snyder. Did you did you read Absolute I don't know. Like, what would fake Scott Snyder say?
Yeah.
But that's crazy, man. Good for you.
It was definitely weird to like, because I was like nervous, like writing back. I was like nervous.
Like,
I was like, I definitely went like my response like went through like multiple drafts because I was like, oh, don't come off as a buffoon or he's never gonna talk to you again.
Absolute Batman shit, man. You're like,
but no, it was cool. He was very laid back. He was giving me that good dad energy. That's the best way I could kind of describe it.
yeah.
You know, just kind of like, hey, you know,
He seems like a cool guy. You know, I've watched some interviews.
He was very chill. So, but yeah, now it's like making comics, and you like know that he's like he's at least periodically checking in on you. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
I'll see your stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
Good for you guys. So. Anyone want to top that?
Sorry, you don't have any celebrity friends, Vaughn.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stan Lee came to me in a vision when in my dream.
All right, I'm gonna Photoshop some fake DMs. So I can't believe that Stan Lee came back to tell me how great my writing is.
Yeah.
All right, I'll have to come up with something fake.
Oh,
or something real. I could try something real.
One thing that I learned, it's not really like a social media thing, it's more of a crowdfunding thing. Like putting your books on at least 2 different crowdfunding platforms. Because I just found that, you know, people have their preferences for social media, and it's kind of the same with crowdfunding at this point with so many different sites. So it kind of helps expedite the process of like readership growth by just putting it on at least one other. So you have like your main one, and then on some other site you put your second chance campaign.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Do you find though, like the whole reason I would go on Kickstarter first and then I would go to Indiegogo was because there was, you know, after Kickstarter there was no in-demand feature, and now with the late pledges it makes me wonder, like, do I need to go to Indiegogo or do I need to go to a different platform because of the late pledges, you know?
Well, I'm still gonna do it just on preference alone. Because there were people who were expecting me to run the Kickstarter and the Indiegogo simultaneously, and it's like, that's
okay,
it's too much. That's too much work.
I've done that. I've done that. It was tough, but I also basically was like, all right, guys, you want Indiegogo? Here you go. I'm gonna promote the Kickstarter, and then if occasionally someone's like, "Where's the Indiegogo?" I'll be like, "Here it is." And then actually I got the same backer number for both, which is kind of weird.
That's weird.
Because I put like no effort into the Indiegogo. So I was like, people want to give me my okay.
And Indiegogo still has things like secret perks, which really help at conventions. So so you kind of like, you know, your price point is at your table, and someone backs the book, and you're like, oh, here, use this code. You can go on Indiegogo to get the next book for the same price you just bought it from me from. So you don't have to like keep changing all the tiers. So there's still a couple of features that Indiegogo has over Kickstarter.
Oh, is there? Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do the secret perk. I'm starting on Fund My Comic, which takes the smallest percentage, but it is definitely, the lack of add-ons is definitely something that isn't crazy. But I also realized I was going to have a lot of people in my personal life who wanted to back me anyway. So it's like, well, it's going to be foreign to them no matter where they go. So might as well bring them to the one that gives me the most money.
Yeah.
You know, that was my, Yeah. Do you guys think like, because I'm gonna do like a cheap 24-page book for my next campaign, and really just have 4
Yeah.
covers and then the first issue and that's it. So it'd be like to get everything would be cheap. You guys think that's like a good idea? Because I just don't feel like adding like a million other things like it did.
What do you mean by like all together? You mean like someone who's buying all 4 covers, or
Yeah, like they could potentially get everything for like $50 or give or take.
$50? I think that's fair. I don't think that's like, bad or anything. I think
Okay,
that makes sense.
Yeah, and then my digital,
Yeah.
I'll make a cheaper because I want to grow, growing my audience too. Because I'm talking, especially people our generation. I think part of the problem with crowdfunding too is we're catering to older fans with more money, which is great. We love those fans, but all my generation, like, because we're like, pissed. They're pissed. They're talking about I can barely afford it, and I'm like, they want to price out everyone my age in my coming of age book. No matter how cheap the book you always have. Exactly. That's another thing too. It broke my heart when I found out how much I had to charge for shipping. Broke my heart. Broke my heart.
I think the most, especially if you're new to crowdfunding, you gotta look at it like this. Crowdfunding is really a platform where you can fund future projects potentially if you're offering your one project that does well, and then once you fulfill, you have a book done. So now you have options to look at cheaper printing options that you could probably go into local stores. You're like locally, you could walk into your shop, talk to the owner or the manager, whoever's in charge of ordering, and say, hey, I got this book. Are you, would you be interested if I could sell this in your shop? And that's where you could get the newer readers to find you and then follow you on social media. And then if they like it, and then you're offering book 2 or book 3 or whatever, they're more likely will back it. Because
if you
it's
give
like,
them
oh,
a cheaper
cool.
first one.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I got this first one. Now I want the second one. And then since I know Neff from Global Frequency gave me some really good advice.
He's a friend.
Yeah, he said that the best approach for crowdfunding is you got to offer something limited and special to want people to want to pay the extra. $5 or $10 for it. Like, oh, this is one of a kind. I'm only going to have it, and no one else is going to have it but me. And that's another key factor I think you should think about when you want to do the second.
Well, that's what I do. My variant covers. What I'm doing is they're a limited, and then I'll print a little extra, and they'll be like double the price. The variant covers. The variant covers were $25 instead of $20 on issue 1, and now they're going to be like. They're selling them for $40, but they're actually people are paying that, and I'm like, all right, $50. I think I might actually hike them up to $50, possibly. So now it's like, okay, and they'll be like, oh, that's too much. I'm like, did you back on the campaign? You should have backed on the campaign.
Yeah.
Back on the campaign. A whole bunch of people are like, I'm Final Fantasy VII fan, but I didn't back the cover. Can I get it now? I'm like, sure. You want to pay double price? Oh, lesson learned. Lesson learned.
All right, are we wrapping up?
Oh, yeah, we're wrapping up. Okay, I was going to say, all right, I guess everyone, if you want to shout out one last thing, I think digital is a great option for new creators. Yes, gives you the impulse to buy cheap. Future, I agree, because I read most of my X-Men comics digitally with Marvel Unlimited, and then I end up going back and buying some physical issues often if I'm like, I really like this one. I want to get it signed at I want to get this issue signed, but I didn't. I read it digitally. Oh, there's someone selling it. I'll go buy it, because I was already a fan of it. Now I'll spend the money. Except now I'm the only one who can sell it. So I make that money. So yeah, I think I'm going to do cheaper. Next campaign, I'm really cheaper, but I'm trying to kind of gain backers, which means, dude, my last approach when I did my launch was so exhausting. But I guess I have to pick a launch date soon.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so anyone shout out your socials or whatever as we head out.
You can find me at T/J on the Twitters and Instagram at BananaBat.
I was looking who's talking because I don't know your voices yet because your mustache was blocking.
Sorry.
Banana bat.
That was Tony. That was
Banana
Tony.
Bat, yeah. That was me, Tony James. At Banana Bat on Instagram, at T/J on Twitter.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Nandorfox, Nandorfox, and you can find me also same thing on Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook. Once you do, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Foxhole Comics on YouTube, and my newsletter, foxholecomics/substack.com. And yeah, that's where you'll find all my good stuff.
Awesome.
Cool.
And Julius.
Oh yeah, you can find me right there on Twitter, Elucid Comic, and you can also find me on Instagram at ElucidPRD, and then also on YouTube at Julius Freeman Comics, where I try to live stream every Friday with my co-host Kyle, where we discuss latest topics, comics, movies, whatever the case may be, and we just have a good old conversation and don't hold back on our thoughts or opinions. So check us out there, and check me out on Twitter and for the latest updates for future projects.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, folks. I am coming in at the beginning. You were at the end. You're at the very end. All right. Well, here's what you're gonna do, Crenshaw. Go to the description, and all these guys have campaigns for you to check out.
Yes.
Well,
Sign up.
Well, Crenshaw's already
Crenshaw
a backer.
gave me a
He
great
made a
review.
video.
Mine's
Oh, is
free,
it?
so
Yeah,
do mine first.
Yeah. Well, he's going. If you just say free, yeah, it's already it. All right. Thank you, guys, and see you next time. I'm going to play the trailer. You guys, if you have not read Phenomenova issue 1, now's the time to leave because I'm going to be playing the issue 2 trailer, which does spoil issue 1. So see you guys. Peace out.
I just want it to be like the Crusader Corps. Like my father. I thought with my new powers I could be. But I failed. I let everyone down. I got people hurt. I just wanted to make the world a better place. And instead I made things worse.
But now I have the chance to make things right with the help of one of the Crusader Corps. The Phoenix section. And I will. I have to. Whatever it takes. I will find that spark again.